All right. Welcome, folks, to collegeballpicks.com. It's our inaugural weekly pick'em show. I'm Mid-Major Mike. This is our first show. I'm going to introduce each of us, give you our first picks for this upcoming opening weekend of NCAA basketball. Hope you're all ready. It's our expert panel here. And I'll send it over to our first vlogger, Jimmy Mack.
All right, what's up, guys? Jimmy Mack, ACC Big Ten blogger here. Give you a first pick from the Big Ten. We got Michigan State and Navy. Navy, great on the open sea, not so much on the hard court. Tom Izzo's going to come out here. He's looking for some respect. He's 15.5-point dog, so I like Michigan State to cover. They lose a lot of talent to the NBA, but they bring back some really good pieces. Navy, 303rd in the Ken Palm rankings, 330th overall in offensive efficiency, so not a lot of points going to be scored from Navy. I really like Michigan State to make a nice early statement, pull away, and I like them to cover. And let's send it over to Cam over here.
Cam to Ham here, reporting live, collegeballpicks.com. Pumped for the new season. Here we go. You'll know my conferences. I'm the ABC man. Cam to Ham, ABCs, baby. Atlantic 10 Conference, Big 12, and the CAA. So we'll start off with a nice, easy Atlantic 10 pick. A nation is all behind the Rams. Friday basketball debut, Tennessee versus Virginia Commonwealth University, better known as VCU, also known as Havoc. And they're playing in Annapolis, small gym there. Back in 2011, VCU's Final Four run, the troops were pulled back in that Final Four. 60.78% were behind the Rams. The military men will get behind the Rams in this small gym when they're bringing Havoc. They bring back 43.8 points per game from last season, plus some top 100 recruits. New coach for Tennessee. We got VCU -7. It'll be a landslide. You could probably take a -30 in the small gym. We will go to D-Row.
Yo, thanks, Kim. D-Row coming at you, collegeballpicks.com. I'm going to be representing the Big East and the Big Sky this year, two of my favorite conferences in college basketball. I'm going to start off with a pick from the Big Sky. We got Weber State on the road at Utah State. Hostile environment at Utah State. Weber State currently goes into the game as 1.5-point underdogs. As I'll mention later in future broadcasts, I do expect Weber State to win the Big Sky handily. So I'm going to say they go on the road and win an out-of-conference game to start the year in a hostile environment at Utah State. Get yourselves Weber State plus 1.5 on the road at Utah State. Now I'm going to send it over to C.H. Davis for his first round pick here.
All right, everybody. College basketball season, best time of the year. So let's start off by I'm going to be specializing in the SEC this year. Also going to be looking at the Patriot League and the American Conference. First game I'm going to pick this year, it's going to be one on the sideline. I'm going to choose Auburn over UW-Milwaukee. Love Bruce Pearl coming back. Great coach. I think Auburn's going to be a sleeper team in the SEC this year. So back to Mid-Major Mike.
All right, folks. Yeah, I'm Mid-Major Mike. I'm going to be covering the Pac-12 this year, but my heart really lies with those mid-majors. Doing the Metro Atlantic Conference and also doing a little bit of Horizon, a little bit of everything in the mid-major world. I'll start off with my Pac-12 picks. My first pick, I'm going to go with the Oregon State Beavers playing at home. Only -7.5 favorites against Rice. Now, Oregon State, they're a little shaky in the Pac-12, a little shaky in conference play last year. Expect that again, but at home they are strong. Rice is going to be coming into a hostile environment. Oregon State is one of the best in the league. They're 12-5 last year at home. Rice just doesn't have it as a team. Expect them double-digit win, easily covering the 7.5 spread. And yeah, send our next round of picks up. Back to Jimmy Mack.
All right, let's jump over to the ACC here. We got North Carolina against North Carolina Central. It's in Chapel Hill, so I like Roy Williams to cover the 16.5-point spread. I know NC Central was a tournament team last year. They lost to Iowa State, but I really think North Carolina's going to come out, send a real message. I like them to cover 16.5. Then we got a little Big Ten ACC matchup on Friday. The game of the weekend, Louisville versus Minnesota. Battle of some great backcourts there. Louisville line dropped from -8.5 to -6. So I really like Louisville -6 right now. I think Pitino is going to come in. He's not going to embarrass his son, but he'll probably teach him a good lesson. I look for good old Rick to cover there with Louisville.
Just
So
like Adrian Peterson.
we'll send it back over to Cam to Ham right now.
J-Mac, that Patino Thanksgiving sounds like it's going to be one furious dinner table. And so here we go with my Big 12 pick. I told you ABC. We did the Atlantic 10. Now we're on to the Big 12 and a special game in Ames, Iowa. We got Oakland coming into Iowa State. Ames, Iowa is crazy for basketball. You've seen what Frank Hoiberg's done in Ames over the past few years. Perennial NCAA tournament team in the top 10 for a long time last year. They bring back a lot of the same guys from last year. Did lose DeAndre Kane, their main man, but they're still going to be very strong this year. Got a few transfers as well. Oakland, not California Oakland. Those Oakland people, they have some swagger. This Oakland's from Michigan, and these guys like to play the Power 5 conferences. Yes, they do. But you know what? Their first 2 games last year, they went to Chapel Hill, as J-Mac said. That was one of his picks this year. Last year, it probably was one of his picks too. I think they were -19.5 against Oakland in their opener. Well, guess what? UNC won by 23. They went out to California in the second game, played UCLA, lost by 31. Iowa State is the play here. Cyclones all day, all night, all afternoon. Buenos tardes. Good night, amigos. We'll go to D-Row.
Thanks, Cam. I got a special game coming up here. I'm fortunate enough that I have one of my teams from Big East, Xavier, playing one of my teams from Big Sky, Northern Arizona. This game will take place in the great city of Cincinnati, Ohio. We got Xavier 15.5-point favorites playing Northern Arizona. You'll hear me say in later broadcasts, I predict Xavier and Northern Arizona to both finish probably mid-pack in their conferences. In this game, though, I think Xavier is going to cover the 15.5 points against Northern Arizona. I really do. I think they're going to go out there and do their job and take care of business. I think you get too much Xavier in this game for Northern Arizona to handle. Take Xavier -15.5 against Northern Arizona. Chris Davis, C.H. Davis.
All right, well, for my next pick, going to stay in the SEC. Going to take the underdog. Give me Georgia over Georgia Tech on the road in a rivalry matchup. The Georgia Bulldogs return their 2 leading scorers, Charles Mann and Kenny Gain, average about 27 points per game last year combined. And so that's why I got to love Mark Fox's team. Got to take the underdog, -2. Mid-major, Mike?
All right. Well, back to some more Pac-12 action for me. We got the Wofford Terriers coming into the Maples Pavilion at Stanford. Stanford's favored at -10. Wofford was a tournament team last year. Good team. But, again, Stanford, very strong senior leadership. They got their leading scorer from last year again, Chase on. He's going to be lighting it up this year. Expect to be a real strong candidate. So, I think it's got to be Stanford. Moving on to mid-majors, we got Yale at Quinnipiac. The Quinnipiac Bobcats, real good Metro Atlantic team. But Ivy League, unless you're picking within the league, picking Harvard out of it, you got to go with the other team. You got to go with Quinnipiac in that one. Take Quinnipiac -1 at home versus Yale. Should be an easy win for those boys. So those are our straight picks, and now coming to our segment, our easy money picks of the week. These are our locks. You can put the money on it. We saw Jimmy's easy money pick of the week.
All right, well, we got a little clash here from a previous pick, but we're sticking ACC Georgia Tech versus Georgia. Georgia Tech opened up -1. They've jumped up to -2.5. So if that doesn't tell you something, then I don't know. It's in Georgia Tech. I know Georgia returns a lot of their starters from last year, but Georgia Tech bringing in a whole bunch of transfers. DeMarco Cox from Ole Miss, Robert Sampson, the son of great Ralph Sampson, coming from ECU. You got some young freshmen in the backcourt. Charles Mitchell coming in from Maryland, who's a beast down low. I really like Georgia Tech at home, -2.5. That's my easy pick of the week. Send it back to Cam DeHam.
Thank you, J-Mac. It looks like this is an entertaining episode 1 here for collegeballpicks.com. We have conflicting picks, folks. I know, we're all over the place, but be patient. Hey, when you're winning that green, that's all that matters. So here we go with my easy money mortal lock of the century. Florida Atlantic, yes, out of Conference USA. I know I said I'm a CAA expert, but they're going on the road to North Carolina to take on the Elon Phoenix. I know you've heard about the Elon home crowd. They are a little raucous, small gym, but the Owls bring back a lot of experience. 2 guards that are going to be able to handle that pressure and crowd noise, calm down the team. They have a 6'9" guy in the post. Elon has nobody in the post. Their big men will look like Muggsy Bogues going against Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon out there at Elon on Friday night. So that's why I go with Florida Atlantic. The Phoenix lost their top 3 scorers. It's going to be ugly, folks. Florida Atlantic all day. Owls over the Phoenix. And we will go to D-Row.
Thank you, Cam. Before I give my easy money pick of the week, I'm going to give a little bit of background on the Big Sky Conference. I know some of you may not be familiar with it. Last season, there was a team from the Big Sky, Southern Utah University.
The Thunderbirds.
They weren't very good. They really weren't. Southern Utah last year, I know this is really hard to believe. In conference, they went 1-19, and overall they had a whopping record of 2-27. And the real question is how they won those 2 games. That's something. And they were 0-16 on the road. So you may be wondering, oh, you probably just bet against Southern Utah, and I frequently do. This year, I want everyone to know, I think Southern Utah will be not as bad as last year, but I do not predict them winning any more than 5 games this year. But, in a little bit of an upset that people may not be expecting, I do expect a team from the Big Sky to perform worse than Southern Utah University. And that would be the wonderful University of Idaho State. I'm sure Idaho State's a nice school, but their squad this year on the court, it's going to be rough. It's really going to be rough. It's going to be a challenge for them to win a basketball game this year. Now to my easy money pick of the week. I'm going to head back to Southern Utah. Southern Utah, they're 28.5-point underdogs on the road at Kansas State. I don't see any way they cover that. I would take Kansas State minus the 28.5. Not even think twice about it. That is my easy money pick of the week. And before I send it over to C.H. Davis, I have one more piece of advice to share. Just because this is the opening segment, I figured I'd let you guys know this. You'll probably hear me say this throughout the year. It's a little bit early to worry about, and don't worry about taking notes because I'll be sure to repeat it. But a wise man once told me, and he was accurate, in big games, you always bet against the ACC. Over to you, C.H. Davis.
D-Row, I remember getting the same piece of advice once from a very nice young man down in Raleigh, North Carolina. So, on to my easy money pick of the week. I'm going to stick again in the SEC, and I'm going to take the Florida Gators minus 18 against the Tribe of William and Mary. Now, Florida did lose many pieces after last year's run. They did lose Patrick Young, Scotty Wilbekin, but you got to look who they also returned. This year, they're bringing back Eli Carter, sat out last year with some injuries. They're going to get Michael Frazier, all-SEC player, potential SEC player of the year. Star-studded freshman last year, Chris Walker's back for his sophomore year, in addition to nice freshman Chris Gioza. So that's why you got to take the Gators at home against the Tribe of William and Mary. Now back to mid-major Mike.
All right. Might be betting a little bit with the heart there, Chris, but I'm all on board for that too. As for my easy money pick of the week, we got to go with my heart. Mid-majors picks. I was looking at them this week. There was one in particular that was real juicy to me. It's kind of paying a little homage to recent holiday, Veterans Day. Yes, it's the annual military classic between the Virginia Military Institute versus the Citadel. And folks, the Virginia Military Institute lights it up. I'm talking 4th of July stuff here, people. They were scoring triple digits in a few games last year. Can't really talk about their defense, but let me just say their offense makes up for it. As for the Citadel, you look at them, garbage. They I believe they had 5-6 wins, 3 of those coming at the end of the year when no one else was playing. Take VMI with Mo the Kangaroo. Take them -10 all day, every day. Those are our easy money picks of the weeks. I hope everyone goes and follows us on collegeballpicks.com. Follow us on Twitter at @CBballpicks. We'll be bringing you free picks each week, following each league, all the teams, all the time. So, on behalf of the rest of the panel, happy picking. X don't give it to you.